11 years ago, when I applied to Rainier Scholars, I was asked who is my favorite hero or heroine. It was a simple choice for me, Elizabeth Blackwell. Not a lot of people know about her, I wrote in my 5th grade cursive. She was the very first female doctor. She applied to 28 medical schools, but every single school rejected her because she was a woman. But she never gave up. And on the 29th school, they said yes. She went to school with 200 boys, and she graduated ahead of all of them. She started her own hospital and her own medical school for both men and women. I admire her because she never gave up on her dreams. When I read those powerful words I wrote as a 5th grader, I think back to that time. As the daughter of a kitchen manager and a factory line worker, I too had dreams. At the time, I didn't know how I was going to help people. I knew I wanted to make some impact, but I didn't know how. As one of 5 children with hardworking parents who struggled to make ends meet, I was often in charge of taking care of my younger siblings. And as the oldest daughter with a strong sense of duty and a very strict father, my dreams took a back seat to my many other responsibilities. I believe that Rainier Scholars came into my life to help me create a vision for my future. I had no idea what changes this would bring. Rainier Scholars has walked beside me every step of the way, from the very first summer when I learned the true meaning of an academic program, to my middle and high school years when I began to understand my true capabilities. Rainier Scholars has provided the support that I needed to cope with a new school environment and encouraged me to take risks. And that's when I began to focus on my dreams. I will be the first person in my family to earn a college degree. Being the first meant venturing out into a new community without anyone in my family to answer my questions, provide guidance, or lead the way. During my first semester at Smith College, it meant feeling lonely, hearing my friends share about how often they talk to their parents, and how enthusiastic their parents were about their college experiences. For me, my first few months at Smith felt surreal. I felt like I was in a haze, walking around in a new world on my own. No one there had existed in my life prior to my first few steps on campus. I had a life in Seattle, and now a new separate life at Smith. And it wasn't until Bob, the man over there, came to visit me during my first year at Smith that it all came into focus, and it became real. He connected the two worlds, and I was reminded that I'm not alone and that I belong in college. In high school, I discovered that my natural talents and passions were in the sciences. And that's when I began to think of a career in medicine. At Smith, as I delved into my pre-med courses, I went from studying cells in isolation to all the different mechanisms our bodies use to function through the various systems. I found a new love for the sciences, for the biological sciences, that I never had before, and it revitalized my dreams in medicine. Last summer, I had the opportunity to work in one of the first 6 community health centers in this country, in the very heart of New York City. During that time, I saw patients who would wait up to 2 hours to see a particular physician because the only other one available was one that just didn't seem to care. The suspicion was that this doctor believed that she was above it, that working at a community health center was somehow beneath her. And while not surprising, it still amazes me how people who want to be in this profession, who are in this profession, a profession that is rooted in beneficence, don't truly want to help, whereas I've always wanted to be in service in my community. I distinctly remember in high school, my classmates talking of going to college and finding a career that would enable them to live the high life surrounded by material wealth, their definition of success. Meanwhile, my Rainier Scholars friend Leo and I would spend hours talking about opening our own low-income clinic and how to make it practical and responsive to people's needs. We spoke of having it near a bus stop so that it was accessible. We spoke about designing flyers in multiple languages and posted at grocery stores. We spoke of our desires to help our families and our communities. So here I am, a month away from college graduation, and excited to start the next phase of my life and continue my journey. With my MCATs already taken and a vision for medical school firmly in place, I intend to spend a gap year working for either AmeriCorps or a subset of AmeriCorps called Health Corps or another health-related nonprofit. After that, I will apply to medical school in New York, and once I finish that extensive chapter of my life, I will be able to do what I've been striving for since high school, to be a pediatrician who cares for those who are most vulnerable. And that element of care and compassion is what means the most to me as I consider my future profession. And once again, my thoughts return to Elizabeth Blackwell and her determination to make her mark on the world despite the odds against her. My vision and passion have been ignited, and my dreams illuminate my hope for the future. Only recently did I learn that during the 1850s, my heroine, Elizabeth Blackwell, established 2 different clinics serving poor women and children of the time in New York City. I am destined to follow in her footsteps, utilizing my gifts and talents and determination to have an impact where the need is overwhelming and the resources are so limited. I know my fellow members of Cohort 1 are also on equally important journeys as they use their education to grow the ripple of impact in far-reaching ways that our founders could never have imagined. We are so honored to be the beneficiaries of this community's support in achieving our dreams and creating change in the world. Thank you.